Hey, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I am with Davide. I said it right. Di Giorgio. And actually, I don't know if you know, but my daughter-in-law's daughter's name is Di Giorgio.
Oh.
So when I first saw that, I actually knew how to say it.
I appreciate that. That's nice.
That's cool. Are you Italian?
Yes, my parents were Italian.
Okay, were they from Italy?
Yes.
Okay, and then did you live in Italy? Were you born there, or where were you
No,
born?
I was born in Toronto.
Okay, so what brought them to Toronto?
Better life?
Yeah?
I don't know. I don't really know that story. It's one of those, like, don't ask stories, you know. It's like they just
don't
ended
tell.
up in Toronto, and I think they were just looking for a better life and
Yeah.
better opportunity for their kids. So,
Cool. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, you betcha.
Right?
People always say that kind of stuff. You're like, whatever,
Yes.
I'm over it.
I'm like, no, most Canadians don't talk like that.
Oh,
East Coast, further East Coast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to be talking about influential leadership and speaking. Now, you want to go ahead and give your resume, your dossier of like all this amazing stuff you've done, like who you are. Oh, wait, before we go on, please share this out on your page if you know anybody who is interested in speaking or is interested in becoming a leader, because this is going to be really great information. Or if somebody's already speaking, go ahead and share this information because, wait. Oh, wrong way. Ticker tape or whatever. Go ahead and share this out with them because this is going to be really, really great information. And today I'm here with Davide. He goes by all three names. So,
Yeah.
So why don't you go and share with everybody who you are, what you do, and like why are you here today? Why am I interviewing you?
I don't know. Why are you interviewing me?
Because you're so amazing. That's
Thank
why.
Thank you. Who am I? Where did I come from? Picture it. Sicily, 1970. I mean, that's where it really all got started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born of immigrant parents who, there's three options when you have immigrant parents. You become a lawyer, a doctor, or an accountant. Now, my older brother chose accountant, so I couldn't pick that one.
Oh, so you can't have doubled up.
No.
Okay.
So they didn't think I was actually smart enough to become a doctor. So they said, well, you're going to become a lawyer.
Nice.
So you can imagine their horror when in my senior year I said, I'm going into music.
Yeah, like any parent's nightmare, right? Like I'm going into music.
Especially for immigrant parents. So it's just like, I may as well have like poisoned them with rat poison, Yeah. So that was my training ground, was music. I started as a composer, musical director, theater producer.
Well, you started as that?
Pretty much, yeah. What? So when I was 12, I wanted to be in the choir.
Okay.
And Barb LaPlante, love you, Miss LaPlante.
Miss LaPlante, you're awesome.
You may be watching. You're on my Facebook. We just reconnected. She said, David, that's nice you want to be in the choir, but you should accompany the choir. And so I've always had this thing. I've always been a born leader.
Okay.
And other people have seen it in me. And even when I didn't think, it's like, no, I just want to have fun. I don't want to be a leader. People would always see that in me and say, David, you need to be in this role.
I want to stop you there before you go further, because that's so important, because how many of you out there have had something like that happen with you where you were a leader and you didn't even know it? Now that was me too. I had no idea. Like I was in the leader I was in band. I played flute, since second clarinet, woo, squeak.
Yeah.
But I was, in the leadership roles, but I didn't know that meant I was a leader.
Right.
Like other people saw me as a leader, but I didn't even recognize it until I was 52.
Yeah.
52.
Right.
So
you look good.
Oh, thank you. I'm 55 now, double nickel.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, same thing. I had so many of those experiences where people kept putting me into leadership positions, but I didn't it just didn't compute in my head. Because it's just natural for me. I'm like, what's leadership? I don't know. It's just what I do.
I'm just being me.
Yeah, I'm just being me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a title attached to it, or the pressure maybe. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I very early on was inspired by mentors to do great things. And so I did. And so most of my life I've spent working with performers, presenters, and speakers on presentation of some kind, mostly in musical theater. Now, here's the thing. Musical theater, yes,
I love that song.
right? And I think the last time we talked a little bit about this, so I'll just say it briefly, is musical theater is a really fascinating art because you're asking people to play a character, sing lyrics which are complete gibberish. If they don't make sense, lyrics don't actually make sense.
Yeah, the hills really are not alive.
Right. What does that
With
mean?
music? I mean, come on, really?
Right.
But it's a great song.
So it's these beautiful, like, poetic statements, and you're singing it, and you're trying to get people to understand and clap,
And you gotta dance too.
and you're dancing at the same time.
Like totally everything, right?
So what I learned in that is how to bring messages to life in a way that inspire other people into action. Sometimes the action is a standing ovation. Sometimes the action is buying tickets to the next show, or whatever is becoming subscribers of a season, right? Because I was a theater director, we had a season, and there was all sorts of stuff going on, right? And so it was a really interesting training ground and really hard because, like I said, and the other thing is not everybody loves musicals. It's abstract.
Yeah.
Right?
I do though.
Right, me too. What's your favorite?
Oklahoma.
Ooh, that's a
Well,
good
that was the
one.
only one I ever played. Like I actually had a professional gig playing piccolo and flute in Oklahoma. And so of course it's my favorite. Plus there was this guy in I was in junior high, he was in high school, and he played the part of, what's his name? What's his name? What's his name, you
Tell
guys?
us.
You guys tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, so he played the part of him, the main character, and he was so cute, right? And all of us junior high school girls went up to watch him play.
Right.
Bobby Johnson, yeah. And I know Bobby, he's one of my Facebook friends. But we had
Bobby.
We all had this crush on him. And so I've liked that musical ever since junior high school, just because of Bobby Johnson.
Right? Why not? That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
what's your favorite musical?
Yeah, let us know.
Let's know.
Mine
yeah.
is Ragtime, I think, and I've been in Joseph twice, two different characters.
I've never even heard of that one.
It's so good. So a lot of people put me in leadership positions. I've always been a leader, and I just have this love for helping other people to really become more of who they are, because I spent most of my life not being who I was. Right? How many of you can resonate?
Relate to that, yeah.
And I mean, for me, the way that expressed itself is I didn't come out to my parents until I was 33.
Okay.
It's a long time to wait. And again, just fill in the blanks for yourself. Immigrant parents, is the last thing that they want is for one of their kids.
Let me ask you a question. When did you know that you were gay? Like you didn't come out till you were 33, but when did you you're like, I am.
Well,
because
that
you
was
had
a
a question
long
earlier, right?
process. I think
imagine,
it wasn't really. I knew something was different. I don't want to say different, but I knew that I was different. Probably at about 20, and I was a late bloomer. As I started figuring out, I'm not sure. Let's look at the evidence. Never dated a girl.
The evidence.
And so I started just going through the evidence, and I thought maybe I need to reconsider what my life path is going to be. But at 33, it just became impossible for me to keep it to myself anymore. And that's when I knew that I had to really tell them and, start to take leadership of my own life. And really,
I love that.
Yeah.
Taking leadership of your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't leading my own life.
Yeah.
I was what you wanted me to be.
That's what I was.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. I'm sure many, many people can really, really relate to this topic here, right? Of not living your life for you, but living your life for others. Like for me, it was about pleasing others. So if somebody went in trouble. And then I just carried that on for so many decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with leadership is when you are out of alignment with yourself, how can you possibly authentically influence other people?
Mm-hmm.
And you see, look at whatever leaders who are in power, whether it's our leader in this country and whether we like him or not is besides the point. But the fact is, he has a belief system, and he's absolutely unapologetic in it. And the way he presents himself is unapologetic in it. And so look at what he's been able to create for himself, right? Mm-hmm. Now, so imagine if you were so clear on what you believed, and you were the leader of your own domain and your own life and your own thoughts and your own beliefs, you influence people. Now, the entertaining part is, of course, it can be for good, for bad, or for ugly.
Right.
And there have been times in history where it's been for bad. Hitler is a great example. Mm-hmm. Incredibly influential leader.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable, of course. Imagine if he had used that influence for good.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, talking about leadership so today we're talking about leadership, influential leadership and speaking. And before we go any further, let's see who we've got on board here. Okay. If you guys have any questions while we're while we're live or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put replay in the comments below. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them, and then we will see them later. Or if you're on live with us, and you have any questions, ask them, and then we'll respond to them now. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
We're talking about leadership, and we're influential leadership and speaking. So let's speak about influential speaking, because this is a very interesting topic, because we can get out there and lead, right? But if we're leading a small group of people, and impacting their lives. But when we're speaking, what can we do with that?
Everything. This is the interesting part about speaking. People don't actually hear what you're saying. They react and respond to who you're being. So now this is really interesting detail to remember. If you want to be an influential speaker, you need to be very clear and resolute in your energy. Who you are, how you present who you are will matter more than the words that you say.
Yes.
Again, look at leadership.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you're like, and I say this, right? Okay, so honesty box, like I'm Canadian, right? So I feel like I have a little bit of extra liberty to say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was convinced that Donald Trump was talking about a mall when he was talking about building a wall. Like for me, I thought there's no way, like it seems.
You really thought he said a mall?
No, but I thought there's no way that this man who's fairly educated and a businessman could be actually talking about building a wall. Like what a strange waste of resources. He must be talking about a mall, because that would make more sense. He's a commercial real estate developer, right?
Money.
But look, like what he actually said was irrelevant, but how much he believed it was relevant. You don't become the leader of a country by accident. You just don't.
Right, exactly. And that's what I think is a very important piece of this puzzle, because no matter if you're a leader in this country, other countries, or whatever, you got to leadership because of how you move, make the movement of people to vote for you. Right. So now some countries, it's not done very well. It's like at duress.
Totally.
But our country is a free country. So majority of our people actually voted for him,
right? Because
he moved us in that direction. And I think it's because people are tired of all the bullshit of politics,
right?
And here's a guy who unapologetically speaks his mind, who he is, and whether we would agree with him or not, he speaks his truth.
He was more being than any of the other candidates,
for sure.
And I've seen it over and over and over again. What did Michael Jackson have that Britney Spears doesn't have? Now, some of it is talent, but there's also, if you watch Michael Jackson in any of his interviews, there's an intangible, there's this X factor, and the X factor is being. It's who you are. Now, when you are being the leader, when you are being who you truly are, and you attach a message that you believe, and so Simon Sinek talks about, start with why, what do you believe? People buy what you believe. So you attach what you believe with who you are, you start to become unstoppable. Look, Elon Musk, crazy. Like, it's crazy what he's got envisioning for the world. Like, he wants to live on Mars, right? Great, people follow him. And he's probably going to do it because he is so resolute. Henry Ford, I love the story of Henry Ford when in the beginning of Think and Grow Rich, they talk about this story, the V8 engine. And it took like over a year and a half to bring the V8 engine because no one could do what he wanted. And he said, you'll do it. Don't worry, you're going to do it. He had this being about him. Walt Disney, a crazy person, another crazy. He had this being about him that his being was so powerful, and he led people that it was after his death that Disney World came to life. Right? That's all being.
That I didn't know, that it was after his death for Disney World.
The plans were there, but he didn't build it. Right? It was other people who took his vision and brought that to life because he was so influential.
Right, and his vision was so clear, too, that they were able to do that.
That's what happens when you are a clear, influential, visionary leader and speaker, and you bring those ideas, what you believe, to life. Look, what are you waiting for? What do you believe? Put it out there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You just don't know what's going to happen. Right. That's what's so cool. And a lot of times I think like for me, kids were better seen than heard. This is the phrases I heard. I heard, how stupid I was, how ignorant I was. And I heard all these negative things about me that made me fearful of putting myself out there, because if I put myself out there, what if I say something that's stupid and ignorant, and the people really, they get on to me. They're like, they know how stupid and ignorant I am.
Right.
But then once
And let's look at media and how many stupid and ignorant things are said minute by minute by minute.
Oh my God. Your family just died in a car crash. How do you feel?
I mean, come on, right?
You hear them say that all the time.
Like, reality TV is all about stupid things, one after another, right?
And it's entertainment, right? And so people pay for that.
Paris Hilton made millions saying stupid things.
That's right.
She is a highly educated woman. And Nicole Richie, like, you see them on any interviews, highly educated.
Right, they are smart.
The Real Life.
The Real Life, yeah. I think that was it. And she used to say, "I'm hot," or "That's hot," or whatever. Like, that was her thing.
We were the ones being duped. They are very smart with what they're doing, right? And they understood entertainment. And so there's another thing that you can do with your speaking and how you present yourself.
Yes.
Right? They believed it.
Okay, you can have a reality show.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right? Come on the road.
Sometimes I think about how, because I was brought up in a musical family, and we were the Von Trapp family.
Right.
We had 5 kids. We were the Von Trapps, and we did all that Sound of Music stuff, and how we were in that. And I never thought about, like, oh my God, you can actually make money being goofy. Some of the stuff Will Ferrell does, absolutely ridiculous, but people laugh, and people love to laugh.
Right.
So I don't know where I got off topic of that.
No,
but again, it's part of speaking, right?
It really is. You have to be absolutely committed to what is coming out of your mouth. Someone did a study actually on, and I don't know, maybe it's because it was Canada's birthday yesterday and it's America's birthday in a couple of days. That's why I'm thinking about the politics. Someone did a study on the way Donald Trump speaks, and they noticed that, and any great leader, they repeat things. Well, guess who else repeats things? Beyonce, any great singer. And we love it. We love repetition.
So do 2-year-olds.
Right. And they get what they want.
Yes.
Or they have a meltdown.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Some things don't change. And so what do you believe that you aren't even saying out loud anymore? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Because you're
not
whatever.
Even once.
Whatever. It could be fear. Because fear a lot of times is what stops us from saying what we feel.
Right.
I know I had a situation just recently where something was going on for several months, and I had a come to Jesus moment, and you know what? I haven't been voicing the truth about this one thing, and so I need to do it. And I did it, and everything, because I was fearful of what the potential consequences could be. But doing what I did, the consequences were not good anyway.
Right.
So
exactly.
So it's just I remember when my kids were growing up, I just tell the truth, because telling the truth is always better, because at least we can address it.
The minute you are not being who you are meant to be, when you arrived with that beautiful standing ovation in this world, mm-hmm. nothing works. And so you really have to ask yourself, am I being who I am meant to be? True to myself. What do I actually believe? Do I believe that? Do I not believe that? Mm-hmm. And I love, we were at the 1-day intensive with James Malinchuk last weekend.
Yeah.
The whole contaminate versus contribute, ask yourself.
So talk about that really quickly.
Yeah, I love the way that, and a lot of people do this differently, but I love, it was so simple, right?
Yes.
When you make a choice or decide to think a certain way or say a certain thing or have someone in your life or work on something, does it contaminate your freedom or does it contribute to your freedom? Right. And ask yourself, the next time you're going to decide not to say something, like when I didn't come out for 33 years, that was major contamination. Major.
You're right, because it totally stifled your freedom.
Gosh. All of my relationships were mm-hmm. arm's length. It's just terrible. I had no freedom. I put myself in my own jail.
Yeah.
So be who you are. You arrived free. It's a beautiful idea that Wayne Dyer talked about. Such a great man. He said, the first 9 months of life in the womb, you are abundant. Mm-hmm. It's pure freedom. Why then does it need to change the moment we arrive?
Oh, I love that.
We work too hard. So why don't we just default to our blueprint, default to our miracle?
So let's talk about, so you had, that was a moment of freedom of speech, right? So you voiced this out to your parents. And so just talking about that moment, what did that do for you emotionally, mentally? As far as freedom goes, because this is right before the 4th of July, so I might as well talk about
freedom.
That.
Oh my
and tonight,
gosh.
our magazine, we're here for Life by Design magazine. It's the July launch, and the topic is freedom. So what did that do? What kind of freedom? I'm going to share with you a freedom story for me. Okay?
I can't wait. Yeah.
And you guys share a freedom story.
Please,
of yours.
Share it below. We'd love to read those. everything changed. Like, you know, the whole everything felt lighter. I felt like I could just be myself. I was released from burden. Now, I don't blame anybody. It was
Right.
nobody. It was my own burden. And I had lived all these years afraid, wondering, what if, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You know, like I'm just going to be more myself, and I'm actually going to take ownership of my life. I'm going to lead my life, and I get to make the choices now. And it was a beautiful thing. And I've created a life of literally my dreams in that time. It's 9 years later now. And yes, my parents instantly.
42. Okay.
Yeah. My parents instantly disowned me. That's what happened.
Oh, they did.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
was that a fear that you had that they might do that?
Oh, I knew that.
Okay.
And that's what took me so long, because I was
Okay.
like, am I ready to actually lose my parents?
Mm.
Well, who are parents anyway? It's a definition in your mind. So I was
Exactly.
not free in that, like,
Totally.
what is family? You know, I have lots of family. I just redefined what family meant for me. And so now all of a sudden I had lots of people who said, I'll be your mom, I'll be your dad, I'll be your family. I want to support you, you know, just in your vision and what you're doing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I had bigger family.
Right. Bigger and better, because more accepting,
Just
like accepting
free. Like,
family.
I was just right, exactly.
You could be accepting you for who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
just lots of
yeah,
freedom.
that's really interesting, because my story is along the same lines, not exactly, of course, but you know, I grew up in a very abusive, alcoholic household, and my dad was not only condescending but beat my mom on a regular basis, and so I grew up with a lot of fear in my family. And then what I realized later, you know, flash
Flash forward.
forward many years, like decades, and when the day my mom passed away, my dad passed away, there was no feeling at all. The day my mom passed away, I had this like, it was like this burden had been lifted from my shoulders.
Right.
And I was like, why did that? Why? She didn't do anything wrong to me, you know,
Right.
or anything. But why did I have that? Well, it was because I realized that I had been living my life to make sure that my mom never got beat. So I had always tried to be the good child. I wasn't the good child, but I always, you know, I strived to be the good
Sure.
child and do well, so my mom wouldn't get beat because of what I did.
Right.
And so when she passed, I didn't have that anymore. I could now learn to like discover who is Linda
Yeah.
and be me. So
Right.
exactly what you're talking about. And man, you know, I talk about it sometimes to people, and it's like, how could you not grieve? I don't know. I don't know how, but I can tell you this, that it was a freeing moment.
Yeah, and those freeing moments, pay attention, look back in your life and identify, where have you felt the happiest, the most free, and what was that?
Yeah.
What is in that, right? And who were you being in those moments? And add more of that into your life. When you do, and I'm sure you've noticed this in the last couple of years for yourself, people respond.
Big time. Because
Right.
they want to so much be themselves, and they want to be authentic, and they want to be vulnerable, but they aren't sure how. So when you show them vulnerability, you show them authenticity, all of a sudden they're like, I can be vulnerable with her or with him.
It's so cool.
And then it helps to open the door.
Yes, it's so cool, because, you know, in the speaking world, there's this big conversation all the time. It's like, what's speaking about? And a lot of people, there's a couple of camps. Speaking is about the audience, and the speaker needs to be all about the audience. And I'm like, no, actually, that's not true. Some speakers, and we've seen them are all about themselves. And you know, when you've seen a speaker like that, you're like, oh my God, this is just not
Because
pleasant.
it's very shallow. Yeah, there's no feeling right
Now, here's the thing. The trick is, and it's interesting because the book that I just wrote, Being Unapologetic,
Yes.
really talks about this. And I had to struggle because on the cover of the book is a picture of me, not face on, but it's enough that I want people to feel that it's them when they're looking at the cover. Now, here's the thing, what I've discovered over the last 25 years of working with performers, presenters, speakers of all kinds. You, as the leader, it's exactly what you said, need to show them what it looks like. So you see, for 25 years, I was behind the curtain, which is why on the cover of my book, there's a hand pulling back a red velvet curtain. And there I am on the stage, showered in confetti, and it's like a celebration moment.
awesome,
right?
awesome.
It's such a cool
Awesome cover, yeah.
It was an amazing moment. That was an accidental photo captured. Beautiful. Thank you, Johnny.
Oh, it was real?
That's real.
Oh,
That's for real. Yeah, it was a moment actually
I
captured.
thought it was like a graphic design thing.
No,
done. Oh, that's
it's-
awesome.
I know, right?
That's
Pretty
like,
cool.
when does that happen? Never.
I know. So when you actually step into the spotlight yourself, so I was able to help lots of people over the last 25 years. Now I've decided very intentionally, I'm going to step into the spotlight to show you what it actually looks like to be unapologetic, to be influential. Because now you're like, okay, you're my lead, you're showing me. It's far more effective than you just telling people how to do it. Show me, right?
So much, yeah. And then showing them by them doing.
Exactly.
Because I know, like, you
holding
have
space for them too.
Because you have your program. It's a speaking event you hold once a month. You want to drop some bombs about that?
Yeah, the Unapologetic Speaker Experience. The next one is on July 18. After that, August 22nd. Anyway, it happens once a month. And the whole point of the event, really, it's not about me. I mean, I'm hosting it. I hold space for you to come and present yourself. Everyone gets to introduce themselves. Everyone gets photos of themselves. 5 or so speakers get to speak for 5 minutes and get feedback from me and the special guest. And so, because I know that what you want is to be seen and heard more than anything else. And it's valuable. And sure, I'll speak for a few minutes, and so does a special guest. But really, it's a platform for you to step into the spotlight also, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a great venue for people to start to, and you do too, right? You have a similar event that
in Life by Design magazine.
Yeah.
We put on this same, somewhat similar type of event,
Yeah.
and it's awesome because just giving people that space. And I know for me, it's never been about me. It's always about, I love bringing people together.
Yeah,
like that's,
she
I'm
sure
a hunter.
does.
I'm a
You
hunter
do.
gatherer.
I love that.
Maybe I don't really hunt, but I gather. I'm a gatherer. Okay, like, okay, bring my little toys together.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play. Kind of thing. And so for me, it's all about bringing people together so that they can experience joy and laughter and just experience people. Because I made a declaration. I don't know if I told you this, but about 3.5 years ago, when I started my entrepreneurial journey, I made a declaration that I'm going to spend the rest of my life having as much fun as possible, hanging out with positive, uplifting people who made a positive impact on the world. And
Beautiful.
That's like what I want. That's truly, and the first time I said it out loud, I felt really weird. I was like, that's so superficial.
Right.
But then people came up to me and was like, oh my God, I love that. That is so amazing.
And that's the perfect example.
That's the point.
You stepped into the spotlight and showed people what it would look like to live a life of fun and freedom, and people want that. People.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for? Is what I have to say to
That's
you.
a song, right?
Like,
What are you waiting for?
Step into your own spotlight. Someone is waiting for you
Yes.
to show them what it looks like.
Hi, Veronica.
Hey, Veronica.
Hi, Emma. Hi, Shamika.
Shamika, you are awesome.
Woo, woo, woo.
Shamika's like one of my biggest fans. David, you definitely need your own show. I'm so thankful that this
I'm
amazing
surprised you don't
lady,
have your own show. What's up with that? I expect to be your
I
first
know,
guest, by the way.
Well, I'm starting a YouTube channel. So,
Screw YouTube.
yeah,
Next.
right.
But yeah, that would be, you should have your own live show.
I know, I'm getting there.
Really, because you can, what are you waiting for?
Nothing, actually. It's starting it. It's just everything
okay.
pieces, right? It just, immigration slows you down. I just got to say, like
Okay.
it took some time to, get everything in order and
Is it all in order?
It's all in order. Yes. Totally legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise the roof.
That's right.
Well, we wanted to talk about, he has a free gift for you guys. So go in the comments below, type deliver vision.
Yes.
2 separate words. It has to be 2 separate words. My messenger bot will then send you a message. You'll have to type deliver a vision again, just because that's the way Facebook requires you to do a double opt-in. So go ahead and type deliver vision in the comments below, and then my messenger bot will send you a message. You reply again to that, and that will send you to...
It'll send you to a page which has all sorts of wonderful options. And the one that you really want to check out is the one that says free video course. And it's a 5-part, actually with a bonus, so 5 plus 1, video course that takes you through the steps to really start to go from being unheard and uncertain to unforgettable and unstoppable, and to really to bring that message to life, your idea worth spreading, your leadership platform, totally free, no strings attached.
So awesome.
Yeah.
And then after you do that, then go look at the other stuff on the site.
So much great stuff.
So much.
Contests, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Well, now you're the unapologetic speaker, and I know that you use un for as often as possible.
Yeah.
And so why don't you tell us, like, how did the word come about?
So for about 1.5 years, I was using Unforgettable, and it was on my website and everything, and it was kind of
unforgettable.
I know. Every time I said it too, I thought that.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, apparently it
I'm
wasn't.
waiting for you to sing with me at some point.
Apparently it wasn't so unforgettable.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
I don't know how to solve that problem. It wasn't so unforgettable because it just wasn't strong enough as a brand.
Okay.
One day I was at an event And I said to someone, I said, what would it be like if you just shared what you believed unapologetically? That's what I want for you. The next day, I had an email the next morning, and she said, oh my God, David, I can't stop thinking about that. I want that. I want you to teach me how to be unapologetic. And I thought, that's really it. Because for me, okay, I'm Canadian, so we apologize for everything. So I'm so tired. Oh God. You'll bump into me on the street, and I'm so sorry. It's like, I'm tired of apologizing.
I'll bump into you and you'll apologize. Yeah. Okay, got it.
I'm tired of apologizing.
I have a friend that's not Canadian, but she must be.
Right. Okay, some of that gene in there. So really, it was an accident that I started to realize, like, yeah, I want to live my life unapologetically. And so it just started to grow, and then I started to add a whole bunch of words in the unbrand, unmessable, and unstoppable, unwavering, all sorts. Unicorn is a new one that's coming in. Unicorn. Who doesn't want to be a unicorn? Who doesn't want to be unique, right? As groups, we want to be united. And so it sticks. And not everyone, a lot of people that I meet, even branders, are like, David, you've nailed your brand. I'm like, really?
The unbrand?
Yeah, the unbrand. So now,
the uncola, right? Pepsi, I'm sorry, 7-Up is the uncola.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. So it works. It's strong. And unwords are super strong words, right? To be unwavering, to be unapologetic, to be unstoppable. It's like you're planting your stake in the ground. Even to be a unicorn. I mean, those are some strong words there, right? Like,
but of the words he's saying now, which are you? Like,
tell me your favorite unword.
Yeah. And if you can't decide on one, go ahead and put more of them, because I'm definitely unapologetic. And I'm a unicorn.
I wear it on my, I have my little unapologetic.
Unapologetic. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I am unapologetic. It empowers me, and I remind myself. I wear it around my neck. Actually, I have a little contract on my neck, and it says
contract.
Yeah, I'm a real unapologetic, audacious leader.
Oh, I love it.
And I remind myself every day of that. And this year, I slightly adjusted my contract. I call it a contract. It's I am an unmessable, joyfully audacious, unapologetic speaker. And the reason I added unmessable is because I am normally messable. So you'll say something, and I'm like, what did she mean by that? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm very messable.
Okay.
And so I need to remind myself multiple times a day to be unmessable. So you see, people say to me, David, I wish I could be as unapologetic as you. It works for you. It doesn't for me. The reason I use unapologetic in my brand is because it's the absolute opposite of who I am. And I have to remind myself constantly, what would it look like if I were actually to say, think, act, believe, lead unapologetically and stand my ground? Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. I've built a successful, growing business in just over a year and a half. I just got my green card a year and a half ago, and I'm doing well. Like things are good.
That's awesome.
And I have never been able to do that before this point in my life at 42 in such a fast time.
So have you had more clarity like in that last year and a half?
That's so much clarity.
Because clarity really is key, huh? Because I know for me, I have messed up a lot of things as far as clarity.
Right.
Because in the last 3.5 years, I was corporate. I was a legal secretary for 20 years. I worked for a judge in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. I've had 49 jobs. Okay. So I've had a lot of mess to go around. When I left my corporate job 3.5 years ago, I was like, I'm leaving that. But I didn't know what I was going to do. So I had to figure it out. So I spent 3.5 years, and I finally figured out what it is. So now that I have that clarity, now it's time I don't know what's going to happen. I'm excited.
And that's the cool thing is like, I don't know, when people ask me like, Dave, you just know how to do it. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Honestly,
what I'm doing.
I keep making my choices based on contaminate and contribute.
Yeah.
Totally.
If it brings you joy and it makes you happy, you should be doing it.
And does it fit what I believe? Does it make me unapologetic? Do I really believe it 100%? Am I all in on it? That's how I decide. And it works because people are moved by that. You know?
Yep.
When I started my event, same thing. You've done lots of events. One time we had 8 people. One time we had 50 people. But I just keep doing it, and it keeps growing, and people keep referring people, and people want to come to the event. And now I'm launching a mastermind. It all grows.
Now he sells out, so you can't get in.
I know I have to close the doors sometime and send people away just because of fire code and stuff like that. We run out of chairs.
You actually follow the fire code?
Well, I want to make sure we don't get uninvited.
I had uninvited. That's right. So I had an event where 3,500 people showed up. It was a food festival.
Oh my
It was a first-time event. It was called the Very Best Chocolate Fest.
Oh,
So Chocolate Festival, 3,500 people. Indoors capacity was something like 600.
oops.
We easily had 2,000 in there. And I was having so much fun. I didn't even think about the fire code. I didn't care.
See, when you're
I was
having
like-
fun, it doesn't matter, right? Like you're
Yeah.
just, I mean, you have to be
Because
careful.
I was being me. I was being, right? I was being me,
Yeah.
unapologetically.
That's right.
Now, let me ask you a question about, I know we're here to talk about speaking, and we are talking about
is.
speaking. This is all,
It really
okay,
is.
so that's the point of all this. This does play into speaking,
Yep.
and this does play into leadership, all of this, because if you lead, like as you said, to be a leader, if you are leading unapologetically, if you are leading authentically, vulnerably, which I think a lot of people think vulnerability is not a good trait for leaders. What is your thought on that?
Well, what is vulnerability? In order to be vulnerable, it requires great courage. So when you show vulnerability, now let me be very clear. It does not mean that you start every talk with your deepest, darkest, saddest story.
And you cry and cry
Right.
and cry all the
Because-
time, right?
Right.
Like,
That doesn't mean that is not vulnerability. It has to be appropriate within the context. But yeah, be real. Like not, and I don't mean talking about like authentic, like digital entrepreneurship authentic. You know, now it's a word that's just thrown out there.
I know. I'm so
I
tired
hate
of that.
right?
Because I am authentic, and now I don't
Right.
even want to use the
I
word.
know,
Like, what is
right?
another word? Unapologetic. That's your word. So what am I
Oh,
going to use?
gosh.
Give me a new word.
Right? Yeah. What's your word for authentic?
Authenticity.
But
yeah.
it's true. Like just be real, and people will follow. That's all it is, right? And if you can just share what you want, people follow.
You want to hear? I came up with REAL. Okay, so I came up with an acronym: REAL, really empowering another's life.
Beautiful.
Like that?
And that's the other thing is like
That.
when you are. So here's the thing. So I have a small group of people. Not haters, but you know what I'm talking about. Who are like, oh, being unapologetic, I hate it. It's like it's all about you, and it's just being brash. And no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not the definition of unapologetic for me. It's about being of service for the rest. Because when I am unapologetic, you are inspired to also be unapologetic, and then all of a sudden you show up in your power. That's what I'm talking about.
It's almost as if, like when you walk into a room, vulnerable, authentic, unapologetic, that you're giving others who are fearful of being there permission
Absolutely.
to join me. It's
Right.
okay. And I have had so many people that we've had amazing conversations because, like, I'll open the conversation with this vulnerable, just this vulnerable state of being, and it's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and if you admit, again, like Henry Ford or whoever, Walt Disney or Elon Musk, they don't know how they're going to do everything that they're going to do, but they're like, I don't know, but we're in it together and join my team and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they do it. You know? Like, that's just it.
Amazing leadership, right?
Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to have the answers to everything. That's not what it is to be an influential leader or a visionary.
Right.
It's not about that. As a speaker, you will never have all the answers. And who likes someone who has all the answers anyway? We don't like that. That's the book of knowledge person.
We don't want to go to them because they're going to have the answer.
Right.
Well, I mean, like if I want to bring up something that can maybe make it better,
Right.
they don't want to hear us
Right.
because they have all the
They
answers.
have all the
That's what I
answers.
meant.
Right. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
be the book of knowledge. Be open. Be an expert in what you know and what you believe. And in the other things, it's okay to be an I don't know. That's vulnerability right there.
Yeah.
Right? As a speaker, you don't have to tell the audience everything. How about you let them imagine for themselves? So you say things like, what is possible for you when ... whatever your expertise is? What if you did this in your life? What if you tried things this way? The result is the same. You're still telling them basically your information, your content.
Right.
But you're framing it in a way that the audience can choose for themselves without you saying, how many of you would like to, right? Because that's also tiring when you're constantly asking a question just to get the involvement, right?
Yeah.
Instead,
That
you put
gets
them in their
so
own wonder,
old, yeah.
right? You know, yeah, it gets old, totally. So,
But I like that too because I noticed that when those questions are asked, that I actually do go into what if I,
right.
and then sometimes I miss the next question because
Right.
I'm still busy
Yeah.
on the other question, figuring it out, which is good because you got me thinking.
Right.
Right.
And that's the whole point.
That's when you're impacting people's lives. You become a great influential speaker, leader on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unapologetic,
That's
on
a good way to
fire,
end it.
on purpose. Yes.
So if you want to reach Davide, is that right?
Got it. Yeah.
So this is Italian. That's why Davide. Okay, cool.
Should we do a lesson on my name? 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. Because it's Italian, the hands must be involved.
Oh,
So you have to pretend like you're like making pizza, and you just throw the pizza. Okay. Now, here's the key. Davide is 3 syllables. The accent, the hardest accent, is on the first syllable.
Da.
So you want to throw your hands, throw the pizza on the
Davide.
first. Yes.
Davide.
Davide. Yeah.
Davide.
Yeah. There you go. Lesson complete.
So if you found something of value here, please go ahead and share it out on your page. And Davide is absolutely amazing. If you want to have that download of the video download, is 5+1 bonus. Type deliver vision in the comments below. Share this out. And today we were talking to Davide Di Giorgio. I love spending time with you. You're always amazing. Again, like I said, I want to spend my time having as much fun as possible, hanging out with positive, uplifting people just like you who are making a positive impact on the world. This is Linda West with Living Life, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week for Mentor Monday. Who knows who my guest will be, because you're like a special guest.
Oh.
I've been interviewing the same person, Stephen De La Cruz.
Oh, great.
So you're my first special guest.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. Where's my cursor? Hold on a second.